Welcome to creating bar graphs and pie charts with pivot tables in Excel. What we're going to go through and do is open up our spreadsheet, Dane County Homes for Sale, and over up in the top right hand corner, if you're not able to edit the file, if it's in protected mode, you'd have to choose enable editing and save it to your desktop, as I've mentioned in a few of the other videos so far. We're going to go and work on Madison, so underneath, looking at the different sheets here, it's currently opened up to Stoughton, so if we go over to the left and click over to the Madison sheet, we're going to go and edit that data. We're going to be going through and creating a pivot table for categorical variables. So if you're going and using quantitative variables, if it's a discrete variable, a pivot table makes sense. If it's a categorical variable, again, a pivot table makes sense. If you have something like price that we looked at here, where you have got lots of different numerical values, not quite a continuous variable, but we're going to treat it as one for a continuous quantitative variable, then you'd want to go and create something with classes instead and use the frequency batch function or data analysis add-in. So what we're going to go through and do is the pivot table idea. We're going to highlight the whole data set. So we're going to row V, column V, all the way down to row 851. Highlight that whole data set. Then under the Insert tab, over on the far left, you'll see Pivot Table. If you have your window open too small, you'll only see Table, and with choices underneath, this will be one of those choices. So clicking on the Pivot Table, it gives you the list. It's Madison. The exclamation point says the sheet that you're looking at. Then the dollar signs say that that's the absolute cell address. From A1, the colon says it's a data range from A1 all the way down to V851. And down here, we're looking at the work created on a different worksheet, and it'll be called Sheet 1, which will probably be between Fitchburg and Madison when we're done. So go ahead and click OK on the dialog box. Then this gives us the pivot table. Over here, we're going to end up having a frequency distribution, where you'll have the first column being the x values, which is going to be a categorical variable from this list that we'll choose from. And then the second column will be the frequency, or what they call the count. So if we look at whether or not, say, it has a full finished basement or a one-car garage, whether it's attached garage or something along those lines. So let's go and choose whether it's a full finished basement or not. If we go and we drag that option down to rows and then drag it down to values, you notice that the first column, the row value labels go from yes to no, so it's a categorical variable because there's only two choices and they're not numerical. And then the count of bases, count of finished basements automatically comes up, along with what the total number of data points, 850 in this particular case. If you had done this with a quantitative variable, this would have been, instead of the default, would have been sum of whatever rather than the count of whatever. So we would have had to go over and use this little down arrow under values to create value field settings, which I show in another video. So here what we go through and do is just highlight the data, then go under Insert, and then we can go through and choose whatever type of chart we want. We want to go and do a bar graph, so choosing the first option, there we've got it. It gives you the labels yes and no, and then the total, you can go and edit that and simply say bar graph of finished basements in Madison Homes for Sale. And then you can edit it in terms of the count by going over under the Design tab and adding elements. We can go through and add on the horizontal axis. We can go through and add on the label, and we can say number of houses. And there you go. There's only one value, so you don't need to have this. We could end up deleting that off. You can go through and size things however you like. You can go through and edit things if you want to get rid of how many yeses alone, just show the yeses. There's all sorts of ways that you can go through and edit things, let you play around with those on your own. That's how we can go through and create a bar graph. If we want to instead go through and do a pie chart, you would go through and do a pie chart, and then there's lots of different options as to how you want to go and set one up. This one's pretty straightforward. And then you've got all sorts of options if you want to have the numbers on there, and then you can go through and edit it the same way, saying this is a pie chart for attached garages in Madison, homes for sale. And there you go, and then you can size things however you like and move things around. Hope this video was helpful. Good luck. Take care.